So it's easier, and this goes back to, that improvement goes back to our personal lives, okay? Because at home we know where we put the broom, right? We know where it's at, we know where it's in the closet. Dennis has the exact spot, so we're not going to say Dennis, because Dennis has got a better spot than everybody else. But it goes back to, Robin knew where the broom was. Keith was trying to figure out where the broom was, getting used to it, but Robin always knew because it's Robin's area, right? So the problem is if we have someone go over to help Robin to clean, it's a lot easier to go find the broom, it goes back to the green location or blue location. It's not really any easier for Robin, it's for everybody else to be able to do that, right? So, okay? Alright, we got a... Alright, so we're going to read some of this today. One of the things I think we need to keep in mind is that yesterday we mentioned there's 4 main authors of the Declaration of Independence, right? So think about 4 people in a matter of less than a month wrote something for this country that's lasted hundreds of years, okay? So just think about that. How much pressure, and it wasn't bureaucratic and it wasn't political, it didn't take years to get it passed like it does today, okay? So when in course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's gods entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate the government's long established should not be changed for the light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience shown with mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and absurrations, pursuing invariably the same object evidences, a design to reduce them under absolute deposition, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for the future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is the history of repeated injuries, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to the candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he is utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of a large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the rights of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and impermeable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolution, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers and invasions from without, any convulsion within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the condition of the new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount of payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He has affected to render the military independent and superior to the silver powers. We'll read some more of it tomorrow because it goes on. But think about all this stuff that they're pointing out that, the tyranny that was in effect and everything else. Also, does anybody know what all 13 colonies we're talking about here? Anybody know? This goes way back, but it's been a long time for me. I had to read it, so I cheated. Alright, so remember we have New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and Georgia. So those are the main 13 colonies we're talking about. So, okay? We'll read some more of it tomorrow. We got a video here.